All right, YouTube says I'm live, so I must be live. Welcome in. This is the Howdy Tech Show, or hanging out with Dave, whichever way you like to call it. A little live stream that I do here on the weekends. Usually here lately, it's been on Sundays. It was on Saturdays. Now it's on Sundays. Little stream that I do, kind of talk about some news that came about the last week in the tech industry. I usually stick with hardware-related topics if possible. To kind of give the community a chance to hang out with me and chat about whatever comes up. But we do some news topics, usually 3 or 4 a week, and then talk about how good the channel's done or how bad the channel has done, and what you can expect out of the channel for the next week or so. Video ideas I got coming up, whatnot, what I've been working on, what will be published here soon. There is a couple disclaimers I like to throw out beginning of each show. I do drink a cold Budweiser while I do the show, so there is some alcohol consumption. Cheers, y'all. Hope the weekend's finding you well. Also, I'm a truck driver by trade, so I don't always have the best language. I try to keep it to a bare minimum, but it does happen. Every once in a while, a cuss word or a dirty word may slip out. And like I said, I try not to let it happen too much, but it does happen. MT Coiner's in the house. Welcome in, MT. Glad you're hanging out with me this weekend, buddy. I hope everything's going good for you this weekend. This week in the news, we have AMD, the X670 Extreme motherboards from MSI has been revealed with prices. We got a couple leaks from WCCFTech. We got the 7600 CPU and some of the temperatures and whatnot on it. We also have 7700X benchmarks going on. Keep in mind, what we're going to talk about from WCCFTech is rumors. They are leaks. Take them with a grain of salt. The 7000 series hasn't quite launched yet, so I don't know exactly how good them were, but so definitely take them with a grain of salt. They come from a pretty good source, though. They come from I think it came from video cards. Apparently they got their hands on them, but they should be under embargo if they did have them. But you know, people like to break them things. So I guess we'll flip over here and we'll start out with these motherboards from MSI coming up and the price points. If I can figure this out, OBS had to update this morning, so it kind of got me a little confused here. But MSI reveals the X670 and X670E motherboard prices. This is for the upcoming AM5 sockets. They should be coming out pretty soon. Main thing to look at is down here. Of course, they're going to come out with the high-end stuff before they do the low-end stuff, like always. They do it every launch. We have prices from $289.99 all the way up to $1,299.99. So $1,300 for a motherboard. Hope you all have a big wallet. You got the Meg X670E Ace for $700. You got the Meg X670E Godlike for $1,300. We have the Meg X670E Carbon Wi-Fi for $479. And you have the Pro X670P Wi-Fi coming in for $289 or $290. So yeah, like everybody figured, that's going to be pretty expensive to get onto the AM5 platform. Figuring them, you know, them there's, like I said, you know, them are the high-end boards. They always come out with those before they come out with the more budget options, or what's going to be the, what is it, B660, I think it is this time around. But if you're going to be an early adopter on the AM5, I hope you have pretty big pockets, pretty thick pockets, that you got some extra money laying around. I don't know how many people's on I don't know how good them godlike motherboards ever sold in the past, but apparently there is a market for them because they keep putting them out for $1,300. We go down here, we got some of the stats for some of them. Everything we talk about in the live stream is in the description below if you'd like to look up the articles yourself and do more reading than what I say here in the live stream. But it looks like the BRMs on the godlike is going to be a 24 plus 2 plus 1. The Meg Ace is going to be a 22 plus 2 plus 1. Power, that's your power stages for your overclocking and how much power your CPU can actually get from them. You got the Carbon Wi-Fi is going to have an 18 by 2 by 1. And the cheapest one, the X670P, you're going to have a 14 by 2 plus 2 plus 1. They're all going to have the PCI 5.0 16 slots. The godlike's going to have 3 of them. The Meg's going to have 3 of them. The Carbon Wi-Fi is going to have 3 of them. It looks like the X670P is going to stick with the 4.0 instead of the 5.0 for some reason. Probably why it's only a $300 motherboard. You ain't going to get the max performance out of it. Which, I don't know. I think the PCI speed is a little bit outrageous, actually, but it is what it is. The cheapest motherboard is going to be the only one that has a PCI 3.0. M.2 slots. That's for your SSDs. The godlike's going to have 6 of them at 5.0. Got 6 of them on the Ace. Got 4 of them on the Carbon. And you got 4 of them on the P Wi-Fi. But yeah, they're definitely going to be some pretty expensive motherboards. And like I said, I'm not going to run down through all these specs. You can always look them up if you're more interested in them. Excuse me, guys. But everybody knew that this was going to be an expensive one to get onto. There's some better close-up pictures of them if you'd like to look at them. I'm assuming this is going to be the godlike. Then you got the Ace. Then we have the, what's that one? The Carbon. And then there's the cheapo for $300 or $290, I guess. But and then, you know, of course, next year they'll come out with the more budget stuff, which I'm more excited about than the high-end stuff. Been around the channel, watched some of my videos. I kind of focus on the more budget options of stuff than I do the high-end stuff. Speaking of the Ryzen 5, we got the 7600 CPU, operates at 5.45 gigahertz with up to a 92C temps at stock. 110 watt package, power rating. And I think this is the one that came from video cards, I believe. Yeah, from video cards. They're the ones that benchmarked it and leaked it. So they do have their heads on a 7600X. Down here's a photo showing you with the Precision Boost Overdrive. I can't remember what they're actually calling it right now, but with it overclocking automatically, they were seeing CPU T-junctions up to 92.1 degrees. Pretty hot. They're going to take a pretty good cooler to keep these under control. Without overclocking enabled, it was only running at 56 degrees. So everybody's getting the power they want, but you know, it comes at a cost as far as power consumption goes and the cooling of them. And it does. They will support AM4 coolers. So if you're already on Ryzen, you should be able to use that. The performance tests were carried out on the X670E motherboard, running on the latest BIOS with DDR5 6000 memory and a dual fan AIO kit. So one should expect this to be the final performance, considering the reviews are only a few weeks away. As for the performance numbers, that's stock CPB enabled. That's the auto overclocking. The chip scores are 1,920 points, and single core 14,768 points. In the multi-core test, the CPB disabled a Ryzen 5 7600 cores, a 1681 points in single core and 13003 in the multi-core. So without the overclocking, the auto overclocking, it takes a pretty big hit. Of course, that's why you have auto overclocking. That way you don't have to go in and manually do it. And hopefully don't mess anything up if you wanted to go in manually. But they're saying it's a 14% improvement with the CPB over the stock. Without the CPB, it's running at 4.7 gigahertz. That's a difference of 16% in clock frequency. Not surprising. The chip also offered lower temperatures at power ratings of 50, 60, and 60 watts with CPB disabled while it's stock. The same chip running at 92C with 110 watt power. That's a little lower than the 142 or so watts the CPU consumes at its peak package. But the temperatures are a cause of concern, especially when we consider the fact of a 240 or 200 AIO cooler was used here. Yeah, it says it was a dual fan AIO, but it don't say if it was a 240 or 280. And this ain't even the top of the line chip. 7600 is basically the mid-range, or the 5600 replacement. And with it, you're looking at 240, 280 AIO. You may want to, if you're going to actually do it, you may want to consider hardline tubing. Build your own water cooling loop to keep these things cool. I customized an Optiplex 920 mid-tower to make a GTX 970 fit, but it has a high schooler's first PC. Probably the strongest Optiplex I've ever built so far. Sounds like a pretty nice little build there, MT. High schooler's first PC. That's a nice little build. Yeah, doing the Dell Optiplex, putting a 970 in it, you probably did have to do quite a bit of tweaking to it and customizing it to get that GPU to fit in it. So yeah, the 7600 I believe is going to be pretty hard to keep cool. I don't think it's going to surprise anybody with what 12th gen on Intel is doing and temperatures them things are running. But they should be on the shelves on September the 27th. But there you go. There's a little bit of information on the 7600 and how hard it is to actually keep these things cool with boost frequency. But that's auto overclocking. Just imagine what the temperatures would be if you actually went in and did your own overclocking on these things. Unless you actually go in and undervolt them. But that 5.4 gigahertz are pretty good, especially for an auto overclocking boost. Yeah, it'd be kind of interesting to get one in and see what kind of overclocking you actually get done on it manually. You can keep it cool enough. But I don't think it's surprising anybody these chips are going to be hard to keep cool. That is only the 6-core 12-thread variant, so you just imagine what the higher end ones is going to be. All right, then we do have the AMD Ryzen 7 7700X benchmark CPU benchmarks leaked. Crushes the Ryzen 7 5800X and even Intel's 12700K. I had to get 24 to 8 pin adapter to make the power supply work with the proprietary Dell motherboard. Yeah, that's the thing with doing converting them over. A lot of times them pre-builts, especially the Dell Optiplexes and whatnot, they don't run into standard connectors for the motherboard. The one I'm working on, I don't even have an extra SATA cable to it, and the power supply hooks into the motherboard, and the motherboard has the SATA connectors coming off of it instead of the SATA cable coming off straight off the power supply. They're definitely a different beast. They're definitely a different breed. And I thought converting one of them over to a game PC would be pretty easy, which if I didn't mess one up, it would have been a lot easier. But there is some tricks to them that you have to do. AMD Ryzen 7 7700X, 8 cores, and Intel 12700K for $399, shipped battle it out on the leaked benchmarks. Again, this is leaked benchmarks, so take it with a grain of salt. The 7700X, since the IPC uplift and CPU-Z is rated at just 1%, while the PCI uplift and Geekbench is at plus 14%. So we'll get a look at both the worst case and the best case scenarios of AMD's 8-core Zen 4 performance in these benchmarks. Here's some of the specs of them. The official specs for the lineup for the 7000. Excuse me. We have the CPUs, the 7700, running at 5,425 megahertz, which is your 5.42 gigahertz is what that converts into. I like that. Temperatures up to 161 degrees. Nice and warm, nice and toasty. I sent you a pic in Twitter if you want to see how it looks. I don't think you can make an Optiplex look much better. Yeah, we'll take a look at that, MT. This is the last article. Let me get done with the article, and then we'll take a look at it, buddy. In single core, the CPU score is 774 points. In the multi-core, the chip scored 8,381 points compared to the predecessor, the 5800X. The new chip is 20% faster in single thread and 27% in multi-thread. The chip also comes close to the i7 12700K in single core with a 3% difference, but loses out in the multi-thread test with a negative 15% performance deduction or defect. I guess the way you pronounce that. That's what we're going to go with for today. And by what they're saying, really don't match up with the charts that they're showing. There's a 7700X with 774. Then the 12700K has got 790. The 5800X is down here with 645. Which one's that? That's on the CPU-Z test. Down here you got the multi-core test numbers. You got 12700 at 9.9 thousand. 7700X is at 8.4. And the 5800X is 6.6. The Geekbench 5 scores is coming up next. Let's see here. CPU can be seen blazing ahead with an impressive 2,209 points in single core and 14,459 points in the multi-core test. Here the CPU is 32% faster than the 5800X, 19% faster than the 12700K, and also 10% faster than the i7 13700K. In single thread performance in multi-core tests, the chip offers 40% better performance than the Ryzen 7 5800X and 3% better performance than the Core i7 12700K, but loses to the iCore 1300K by 27%. We got 12700K, 1.9. Where's the 7700? Right there's 7700 at 2000.2. The predecessor, the 5800, is down here at 1.7, or it's saying 1669. The multi-core, I think that's the multi-core. That's the Intel Raptor Lake CPUs. So yeah, they're going to be pretty fast processors. It seems like they're going to, I don't know, being the newest generation on AM5, I figured they would have at least been able to beat out the 12700 instead of just coming close to it. But, you know, it is what it is. The performance is what it is. And with them temperatures, like I showed you on the 7600, it's probably best that they don't shoot to beat them. Just trying to keep them temperatures under check is going to be an issue. Let's see here. Flip you guys over here. Maybe. There we go. That's the picture MT sent of the Dell Optiplex you just put together. Put the 970 in it. This is right down here, the MSI 970. Pretty decent looking little build. Put a regular power supply in it instead of doing with the old Dell power supply. I had to cut the drive cage to make it fit. Yeah, right there. That's alright. If you want the GPU power, you need to modify it some. Looks like you did add an SSD to it. Is that a regular hard drive there? Regular hard drive in it. Right there. Not bad little build. Pretty nice looking build for would you say a high schooler's first gaming PC? With 970. 970 is still a pretty good curve for 1080p gaming today. Not bad. You did at least put dual channel in it. Dual channel RAM in it. Not a bad looking little build. Not bad at all, MT. Not bad at all. Even runs Warzone. Yeah, 970. 970 will run Warzone. What is that? 1080p, probably medium settings at Warzone for the 970. 1920 by 1080 with medium settings, probably. Something like that. Just thinking off the top of my head, anyways. Let's see how the channel did this week. So we did have quite a few community members join this week. We have 12, which they say it's about the same as the previous 7 days. They're not bad. So if you're actually watching the live stream and you're new to the community, welcome in. Glad you said hit that join button or that subscribe button. Want to welcome y'all in. that's going to be pretty well it for the channel update. What's coming up on the channel? I tried starting it out anyways. I want to do the PCI times 4 slot compared to PCI times 3 slot with the 6400. Hooked the system up this morning, and of course Windows had to update. Now got through all the Windows updates. Then the drivers needed updates. I had to update the drivers on it. And then when you actually launch the game, you gotta love PC gaming. Every game in the damn library got to update. They all had updates. So I didn't get much recording done this morning. I'm hoping to have it done by Wednesday and have it published by Wednesday. Depending on what my time frame looks like for the rest of the day, Monday and Tuesday. I don't know. I'm hoping to get it done, but I can't say that it's going to be up on Wednesday. I'm hoping I'm going to be able to get it done for this week. And if I don't get it done, there just ain't going to be a video this week. I don't have anything else backlogged or anything that I could throw up in its place. So I'm not too sure if there'll be a video or not this week. I'm going to try to get that one done, but it may not happen. I also have the Dell Optiplex back there behind me. I want to put the 6400 in. I still want to do that. But I want to try to get some content out on the channel with that GPU before I actually do that build. If you're new to the live streams, once I get that Dell Optiplex done, I do want to do a giveaway with it. But I want to try to find somebody that could really use it. I don't want, somebody that's got a better system than what that is. And just want it because you got a GPU in it or whatever. I want to make sure it goes to somebody that could really use it. And I'm not too sure on how to do it. Never done a giveaway. But I think I'm just going to use Twitter. I was looking into Gleam because a lot of people use Gleam. It seems to be a pretty good way of doing giveaways, but there's an expense to that. I thought maybe they'd give you a free trial, where you could run one giveaway through or whatever before paying. But that ain't the case. You got to pay to be able to use Gleam. I really don't make enough money on my YouTube channel to justify paying any kind of money out for or something like that. And if you're only going to do one giveaway once every 6 years or so, it really ain't worth the price. But I kind of been outlining some of how I want to do the giveaway, what I'm going to ask for. I'll probably just run it through my Twitter page, which there's links in the description below. If you want to join me on Twitter, follow me on Twitter. I don't do a whole lot with it, but it is there. It is an option. Pretty much I put up photos of stuff that I've got coming in that I'm doing videos on, or I put it out every weekend right before the live stream that I'm going to be going live with the link to the live stream. What else we got going on? Is there any questions, comments? I see I got about 3 people watching me this morning. You guys have any questions, comments, concerns, anything you want to talk about? Throw it over there in chat. If nothing else really comes in, I don't have much more to go on for today's live stream. But yeah, I picked them news articles on AMD Ryzen 5, or AM5, just because that was the best thing I could find. And so that's kind of why we talked about that this weekend. But if we have nothing else to talk about, I'm going to get out here for the weekend. I guess it's going to be a little bit of a short live stream this week, but I do have to work on that video and try to get it done up for Wednesday. I do like to try to keep my schedule the way I have it planned out. But like I mentioned, you know, everything I talked about, them 3 articles, there is links in the description below. If you'd like to do some more reading on them, you're more than welcome to do so. Don't forget the All That Fun YouTube stuff on your way down that description box. Some other links down there may interest you when you're down in there looking around. And you all have a good day. And I'll see you in the next video or live stream.